What's up, guys? It's me, Mad Samurai 84 here for November's PS Plus Plays edition. Now we've got 3 new games to play. We've got 1 PS4 game and 2 PS5/PS4 games. I kind of really haven't played these games before, so it will be interesting to play them. Basically, I've played through the games and I'm giving my final thoughts, and then I'm giving thumb scores whether I think it's a good game and whether I think it's a good offering. And at the end, I'll give an overall score for the month, so we can go if it was good a month, or if it was a bad month, or something in the middle if it was an okay month of games and offerings. Anyway, let's jump into the game, enjoy it, let's have some fun, and yeah, let's do this. Our first game for November is a game called Heavenly Bodies. So I've never seen this before. I've never even heard of it. Basically, in the game, you play as a cosmonaut, and you're kind of in space, of course. So, what do you do when you're in space? You make it a physics game set in space. I have to say, this has like an awesome, but like solitary feeling, like synth soundtrack, which is right up my alley, and it really does make you feel like in space. It does, like they've got off the bat and like made that really well. And it has a nice aesthetic to it. It looks quite nice. It's not too going too hard, but for what it does, it looks good and it sounds good. But my only main problem here is I don't understand why, but I think the implementation and like execution of the controls could have been slightly better, make it a little bit easier to move around. Yeah, I was just and you could basically using the left stick and the right stick for your arms, and then you got the triggers which kind of like do your feet for like kind of like pushing off walls and this and that. But you're basically just flapping your arms around, moving your arms here, trying to flap this and that to get where you got, and then you got to kind of use the buttons to grab onto things to move yourself. And yeah, and I kind of understand that whole thing, but it just got quite frustrating on some parts of like trying to get it right, and then you flip round and and then you kind of trying to think of like where your hands are got to go to do this and do that, so you got to like move the camera around, and I just feel like it probably could have been slightly done better, and you would be doing something, you'd be trying to go something, and then you would fly past it, and then you would have to like, it would take me actually much longer to get back there than to do the tasks. And I know like the whole thing was like, oh well, you're in space, it's hard to move, but it doesn't stop it from being badly done and probably having like a way of doing it, really. And that's probably my main gripe with it. If the controls were a bit easier, then this is a much better game in my eyes. I would be more inclined to play all the way through the game. But but I've had some fun, but I've also had a lot of frustration with the game because of those controls. And yeah, the space is meant to be frustrating of moving around, but uh, you kind of don't want it to be too much like that in your game, because I am kind of slightly enjoying it because it is quite nice, but the whole moving around, it just gets on my chest. I won't say the naughty word, but other than that issue, there isn't really anything where I would criticize the game on it, because it's a fun game, and that it's a fun game that could be a great one if it kind of wanted to fix those controls. But that's me personally. That's what I think. It is a nice game. Do enjoy it. It looks nice. Has a nice sound to it. Has a nice feel to it. It just gets annoying with the controls. And yet, some people won't mind it. They'll think it's alright. But for me, when I was trying to play it, I was like, some bits you will get frustrated. You will do. And it is all about persevering because when you do finish it, you are like, oh wow, Jesus, I did that. But you kind of gonna go, but don't really want to do this. You kind of want to spat out the missions over a period because you could probably drive yourself crazy. But anywho. But when you look at its Metacritic, and this is the PS5 Metacritic, I couldn't really see the PS4 Metacritic when I was looking. It sits at 75. So it's got a pretty half decent score, really. And its user score is a 7.4. So the critics thought it was pretty good, and the users thought it was pretty good. So it kind of goes to show that they're talking in cohesion, which I can kind of get. But I'm going to go a little bit of trail. So my thumb scores, if we look at my thumb scores, I was tempted to give it a game score of a 3/4 of a thumb because I was enjoying it, I was liking it, but the controls really annoyed me. So I've decided to give a game score of a thumb in the middle, really, because of that, really. And and I think that's a big thing for me. But it is a good game. I do enjoy it, but I do get annoyed with it. As an offering score, this is where I'm not too sure. I think it's an alright offering. I don't think it's a great offering, but I think it's a good one. I think it's not bad, really. It's something I wasn't expecting because I've never seen it before, and I'm playing it. I'm like, yeah. But I think as an offering score, I'm gonna go with another thumb in the middle, and that's not technically a bad thing, really. This game is under a year old, but it's kind of gonna be a rhetoric of kind of giving us a game which kind of is fun but can get annoying because of that. And the offering is a good one, but also it's an annoying offering as well because it's basically the controls. The controls are just are taking over. But yeah, thumb in the middle for the game score, thumb in the middle for offering score. It's an alright game. It's not bad. It's fun, but it's annoying. The controls. Some people will like it. Some people will hate it. Some people will think it's alright and have probably a lot of the same issues that I feel like. But anyway, that's our first game done for November. Now on to our second title for November. And our second title is the Lego Harry Potter collection. Yes. Now it's two parts. There's year 1 to 4 and then there's year 5 to 7. The original release of year 1 to 4 was in 2010. And the original release of the year 5 to 7 game was in November 2011. But we've got the PS4 collection, really, which was released in 2016. So technically, these are like a 12, 11-year-old games. So, but I have to say, we did get the 5 to 7 year part on PS Plus for the Vita back in like 2013-14. And I did play through it because I was like, I remember playing this. Like, where did I play it? I was like, I played it on my Vita. So I checked my trophies. I was like, yeah, I played it. I played it through. I wasn't too bothered with the game at the time. I just kind of like played through it because I was like, oh yeah. But upon playing this from the start, I do have to say, this is actually a very fun Lego game. I would usually not like really go with a Lego game once you've played one Lego game, you've kind of played them all in a way, because they all do play fairly similar-ish in a way. Yet, this is probably on the better side. This is better than some of the others. This is actually up on like the top tier of the Lego movie franchise games, I personally think, when playing through this. And firstly, note, one of the things we have to say rest in peace to Robbie Coltrane, aka Hagrid. If you're a pleb and you don't know who Robbie Coltrane is, I do. Nuns on the Run, Remember that from being a young'un. But I'm not a massive fan of the Harry Potter series, but I have watched the films, and they're okay. But after playing this has given me some slight urge to jump back into the universe again, just to maybe rewatch them and stuff, because I thought they were okay. I thought they were films that probably got a little bit better, and a little bit darker as they went along. But the game is quite good, and it's full on content for any kind of Lego or Harry Potter fan to play. Really, it's perfect for kids to play, with some help, of course. As the Lego games, you've got a bit more harder than the first like Star Wars games. I find really they have got a little bit more kind of. When I was playing this one, I was like, oh, it's a little bit more kind of like tougher in a way of like gameplay than you know the old Star Wars one. It was quite simple with that, and but yeah, it's kind of I think it is like a nice little game. I do like that you have given the ability to use lots of different magic spells like seen in the films, and does add a nice little level on top of there, like the simple game mechanics really of being able to kind of use this to do that and use this magic spell to do this. This person has that sort of ability, this or that, and it's all quite good. I do like that, and I have to say, you know, Traveller's Tales have always been like good of adding a nice layer of humour onto the licensed games in like the cutscenes or like that, and I always find them really fun to watch. Watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun. In the end, it is an oldish selection of old Lego games, but damn, I have to say, these are pretty solid games to play, whether you're into Lego or Harry Potter games in general. Like, I said, I'm not a Harry Potter one, but I'm keen on the Hogwarts game that's going to come out. But I think I'll wait to see what the reviews are like before I decide to like part of my money and jump into that. I dig the world, and that has been made, and these collections is really good. Really, I'm actually quite surprised playing it. I might just kind of dismiss it when I see a Lego game. But they are giving us a remaster of like a 12 and 11-year-old games, which came out 6 years ago. As so it's kind of like when you're looking like, okay, it's a Lego game. The older games, not like the newest ones. There's some actually Lego games I want to play. I do actually want to give a go of Lego City. And there's the Lego Worlds, which I never played, which also I was kind of quite interested in. But yeah, it's nice. It plays nice. It sounds nice. It looks like they've kind of give it a slightly kind of clean palette on the visuals, bringing it to PS4. But it's actually got pretty surprised me playing through the game. I know I am tempted to play through the game, really. Just a simple playthrough, not going crazy. Just go through it, you know, and just probably enjoy it for what it is. Because it is actually kind of playing quite enjoyable. And when you look at its Metacritic, you see that it got a 73 for the critic score and a user score of 7.7. And this is this is not going back to the PS3 or whatever the original release version. This is just looking at the PS4 collection release, because that's what we should really be looking at. So it's scored fairly well, and you know what? That's probably about right to me when I'm looking at it. And the user scores, because it does play very well. Really, it is a nice collection. It's actually quite a good bundle, really, when you think about it. Getting it, you got basically 2 Lego games for the price of one, and you know, it's quite a bit of game there for you to play. So to get in, whether you're going to play on your own or if you've got kids and you go, hey, let's try this, you know, you know, it's actually quite fun. So when I look at my game scores or what I'm going to give it, I'm like, well, my thumb scores. So as a game score, I think it's actually a pretty good game. It plays well, the whole lot. It's funny. It looks quite nice. The whole gameplay mechanics they've put into these Harry Potter games are good. It is like your standard Lego games where you got to collect all the stubs, get this, get that. It is a bit of a collectathon. There is a lot of things to collect, If you're wanting to get all like the trophies, yeah, I can probably see it be a pain in the arse. But if you just want to play through it, you're actually gonna have a good time, I think, because I am actually quite enjoying it. And if you're a big Harry Potter fan, you know what? This is actually a very good Harry Potter game. So my game score is going to be a 3/4 of a thumb up. Now, I've given 3/4 of a game score because I think it's a good game. It is. I think it is. Offering score. Now, this is where I'm probably going to be on the slightly negative part. They've given us a 6-year-old remaster of a 12 and 11-year-old game they have. Which, yeah, that doesn't bother me in a way, but it's... I feel like they probably could have done better. They've given us a good game, but as of the age, and it's a Lego game, you know, we don't get that many Lego games. Our last Lego game we got here, on the Xbox Gold, you used to get a lot of Lego games. I haven't got a lot of Lego games on the Xbox Gold, but we haven't got that many on PS Plus. Like all my Lego games that I've got on my account that I've played are all been through PS Plus. But the last one was last year, and that was the DC Villains 2 Lego game which is a game I want to play because that was actually quite good as well. But this, as an offering score, I'm going to go with a 1/4 of a thumb. You know, giving us an old collection of old games. And yeah, I'm just, probably could go with a thumb in the middle, but because it's over a certain age, and I think they could probably give us a little bit newer, bigger maybe games, I don't know. But I'm just going to stick with a 1/4 of a thumb up because I feel like that's probably, I think that's not too bad. That's not being too harsh on the game. A 1/4 of a thumb up, because it could be a thumb in the middle, but I've decided a 1/4 of a thumb up for Lego, the Harry Potter collection. Now on to our final game for November's PS Plus plays, and we have got Nioh 2. Now we've got the PS4 version and the PS5 version. The PS4 version came out in March 2020, and the PS5 version they did a upgrade, whatever, give it a little jizzy jazz. That came out in February 2021, so under a year from the original release, which is quite good. We did get the first Nioh title on PS Plus in exactly 3 years ago, because I had a little look at my channel. I'm like, we got this. I did a video, let me have a look. And that is still in my back catalogue. It's a game that I actually own a physical of it, never got around to playing it. I didn't pay full price. I got a used copy cheap, and I was like quite happy because it's a game I wanted to play. And yeah, I haven't got around to playing it after 3 years. And yeah, I will get around to it. I'm just playing through other stuff. But firstly, I have to say I suck at Dark Souls type games. I really do suck at them. But it doesn't mean that I don't try play them. And I have to say, after playing this, from playing Elden Ring, because I played Elden Ring a few months, but I haven't played it in a while. I got to a point where I was a bit like, I do slightly prefer the way Team Ninja has done it, really. I know they don't have the awesome world that they have in the Dark Souls and Elden Ring games, because that is quite special, especially Elden Ring, the world that he's managed to build, and yeah, he's done very well. But I kind of do prefer Nioh, and I will try elaborate it. First of all, even though I spent ages on the first level, just like killing enemies, dying, killing enemies, upgrade character, the usual grind process, because I feel like that's what you have to do in these games, for me anyway, because I suck at them really. So it's just that because I'm bad, I have to do that slight grind. But I have to say, I have actually been really enjoying myself doing those things, and it has given me a little push to probably go back and play through the first title, really, because I've kind of been slightly enjoying it. Now, don't worry, you don't have to have played the first game to play the second installment, from from what I can tell. Graphics wise, it's actually really a nice step up from the first one. Not the best of the PS4 games, but it does very well. Even on the PS5 version, I'm playing the PS5 version, it does have a nice polish to it. But I have noticed like textures being slightly on the funky side and things popping in and out. And on like the majority part, it's like a B plus on the graphics, and even like in probably an A minus in some areas. I think really, it's not like the greatest like PS5 looking game. Don't expect that, but it has got some nice visuals to it, kind of nice character designs, nice level designs. Kind of the background looks good. Overall, looking good. It does look good. One thing I did find a bit odd from my play is the weird change from like the odd choices for certain characters at English voiceover, and then going into Japanese for that character in other parts. It seemed quite weird. I was like, oh, okay, it's fully voiced in English, and then there's other parts that speak in Japanese. I'm like, oh, okay. If you're going to do English in some parts, but not all of it, then why bother just keep it fully in Japanese? It's just that. But some of the voiceovers did find like with one of the characters was a bit like, what? Well, that's a bit of a super odd choice. But gameplay wise, this plays like a Demon Souls game. If you played the first one, then it's kind of like that. We have to kill the enemies, gain loot, experience, and so you can make your character stronger. What they did in the Nioh games is using the different stances as that can really help you in attacking and defending with enemies, and it does require a bit of trial and error, but I think it plays really well, and for me, I do feel like I can get into the series a bit easier than a Souls game because of that, and it kind of a bit like it's still tough for me personally, but because of the certain kind of gameplay mechanics and how it is, I feel like I can probably feel like I might be able to kind of get through parts of it. It's still tough. I probably will. I'll probably never finish it. It's probably going to be one of those games I'll probably will never finish. Really, just it'll get to a point I'm like, all right, I'm stuck. I'm done. I've gone as far as I can. I can't do anymore. But I have to say that it would have been nice if they just gave us the whole like PS5 collection of. They gave us one again and two, the PS5 collection, and I think that would have been good because I've been looking at a physical collection of that. I'm like, I'm waiting for like a good price. But overall, it's a good game that has a lot of challenge behind it. Definitely not for everyone, but is definitely worth trying to see if it tickles your pickle. Now, when we look at its Metacritic, we'll start with the PS4. So on the PS4, it got an 85. On the PS5, it got an 83. So the PS4 user score is a 7.8, and the PS5 user score is a 7.6. So they're probably quite matching on the same level, really. I'm actually quite surprised the user scores are so low. I would say probably in the regions of the 8s. I think personally, that seems a bit low. Well, it's on that cusp. But I agree with 8 and above. Really, I would personally give it because it's a nice game, really. And people are probably playing this and they're probably going, "It's no Dark Souls. It's not on the same level as Elden Ring." Well, it's not. It's not those games, but it's of a similar fashion. So don't technically hold it to the same thing because it is. It is different. It really is. So you shouldn't be holding it to the same. It's similar, but it's not. If it was an actual Dark Souls game, then yeah, you can hold it to the same thing. But people hold those games up so high standard that if there's anyone who done by anyone else and it's not that, they get a bit like, ugh, because the first one was very well received, and the second one was quite well received. But if we do my thumb scores and we look at it that way, for a game score, I quite enjoy it. I think it's a nice game. I'm definitely gonna try give it a go. I'm probably gonna try play the first one again and try play that and give it a go, and then try my hand at going back to the second. because I feel like that's the way to do it. So for my game score, definitely I'm going to go with a 3/4 of a thumb up, because I feel like it's a good game. Really, I think it's definitely a top tier type game, and if you're into it, then you're into it. If you're not into these time games, then yeah, that my score is, you're probably gonna be like, oh no. And then if you're not into that type of game, then you're kind of gonna go, yeah, that's not really my cup of tea. But you know, everything can't be your cup of tea. As an offering score, well, we've got a game that is a bit over 2.5 years old for the PS4, and a bit over 20 months, 21 months for a PS5 version. So it's, nearly 2 years for the PS5 version. So that's not too bad. But I'm gonna give an offering score of a thumb up, because I feel like they've given us a pretty good game. Could they have given us anything better? Yes, of course they could. They definitely could have given us something better. But I think like this is a good title, and I think it kind of, although a lot of people will enjoy it, and it's not too old of a game, really. And then we got PS4 and PS5 version, so that's a good thing. Now, when we look at the month, what do we give it? We got to give a thumb scores for the month. Was it a good month for games? Was it a good month for the offerings? So that's what we have to look at. I've played through the games. I've given my thumb scores for it individually. So let's kind of give a breakdown of the month. So first up, Heavenly Bodies. Good. It's a nice game, but it's an annoying game. That's where it is. It has annoying controls, but shoot me if you want, but that's my problem with it. I gave that a game score of a thumb in the middle and an offering score of a thumb in the middle. Second game was Lego Harry Potter Collection. Now, if you're into Lego games, this is really good. If you're into Harry Potter, this is actually a really good Harry Potter game. So very enjoyable, easy to get into. I gave that a game score of 3/4 of a thumb up and an offering score of 1/4 of a thumb up, because in the end, these are 12, 11-year-old games. Our last title for November was Nioh 2, really, a Dark Souls-like game by Team Ninja. So it's never going to be easy, because it is like a Dark Souls game, and it's done by Team Ninja, and Team Ninja are known for doing tough games, especially the Ninja Gaiden. Gave that a game score of a 3/4 of a thumb up and an offering score of a thumb up, really, because I thought it was quite good. So overall for the month, what do we give it? Well, I think it's an alright month. It's not a bad month. It could have been a lot worse, but it probably could have been better in some areas. So overall, I'm going to give a game score of a 3/4 of a thumb up, because I think the overall games we were provided were pretty good games. They may not be your type of games, but they are pretty solid and actually pretty enjoyable games if you're into them, really. But that's me. Whatever you like to think, really. You've got something for kids. You've got someone for who likes tough games, and you got like something that's more of the indie crowd, really. So it does kind of go across all spaces. An offering score. Now, I feel like probably the thing that really let this down is I'm going to say is the Lego game, just because of its age. Really, they've given us old Lego games, so it's a bit like, okay. If you can give us another little kind of indie game. That'd probably make the month probably a little bit better, I think. Maybe. So, as an offering score, I'm just going to go with a thumb in the middle, really. Kind of the saving grace for me for the offering was Nioh 2. If we didn't get that, got something else a bit lesser, the offering score could have been down to 1/4 of a thumb up. I'm just saying. Unless it wasn't a 3/4 of a thumb up, then, or another half thumb up, it might kind of just stay the same, really, personally. But anyway, yeah, that's the month of November done. Really, we've got one more month for the end of the finish of the year. Be interesting to see what Sony wants to cap the year off. Hopefully, it's good. It's better. Hopefully, it's like full thumbs up all the way around. Who knows? I don't know. But fingers crossed. Anyway, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of this month's games. What games did you like? What games did you not like? Anyway, until next time, guys, take care, look after yourselves, and I shall speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.